Right now, the average home in this country sits on the market for about 53 days. 53 days. Think about that. We're coming in from a world where things were sitting on the market for 20 days. And you have to think, what does this really mean for the consumer, buyer and seller? It's almost 2 months where your seller is sitting in their house waiting and they're not used to it. They're wondering. It's actually happening to us right now with some of our listings. They're checking their phone, they're asking their friends when they're over, and they're saying, hey, what do you think of this? And here's the part that should scare you a little bit. 53 days is about 8 weeks. That's 8 chances to build trust with the seller, or 8 chances to say nothing. Go quiet and let them decide all on their own that you've given up on their house when you really haven't. But that's what not saying anything causes. And I've watched agents lose great listings in a market like this. In fact, I've been one of those agents in the past. And it almost never happened because the house was bad. It happened because the seller felt alone. And when I call expireds, sometimes, in some cases, they're going to say, yeah, my agent did a terrible job. And then I'm like, well, what should they have done, right? And today, I want to give you the exact report I think you should send your sellers every week. Every single week, there are 6 things, and it's on one page. I made this for you, so you can ask for it and I'll send it over. It takes about 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, depends on how fast you are. This is your daily real estate. I'm Tristan. Let's get into this one. Let me tell you why I care so much about this. A few years back, we didn't need any of this. You'd list a house on Thursday and you'd have offers by Sunday, maybe even a ton by Friday, depending on your market. And the whole thing was over in 11 days. Well, plus some days for being under contract, right? Unless it was all cash. Nobody needed the weekly report. There was no 2 weeks. And that's not the market we're in anymore for the majority of the United States. There are more homes for sale now than we've seen in years, and listings are taking time to sell again. And a lot of agents never built the muscle for the middle part. In fact, some agents, even on my team in our brokerage, are newer and they haven't experienced this world. I had a seller call me once, not because the house hadn't sold, it was only week 3. She called and said, Tristan, I feel like I'm in the dark. That sentence stuck with me. And this is way back in the market, was in a similar market that we're in now. And I ended up losing that client. But that sentence, it stuck with me because I was working. I was doing a lot for that house and for that client. I just couldn't see any of it. And that was all on me. And that's, for me, when it started coming together. A seller's stress doesn't come from a lack of offers. Well, you know what I mean here. It comes from a lack of information. And those are 2 totally different problems. And only one of them is in your control. You can't control the market, but you can control whether your seller feels alone in it. So here's the report. 6 things. Send it every Friday. I would send it in an email, send it by text, call them. Number 1, showings. How many showings this week and how many total since you listed? Always give both because the total usually looks better than the week and it helps them keep perspective. Sounds like this. 2 showings this week, 11 total since we started. Number 2, online activity. Views and saves, pull them from the MLS, from Zillow, wherever you can get them. In fact, if you want to bring in AI into this, which we showed in our workshops for AI, pull up Comet, the browser for Perplexity, open up your MLS, open up Zillow if you want, but mainly the MLS, log in, and then just tell Comet, hey, give me all the data for my listings, how many showings have come up there, both on the MLS and all on Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, and everywhere else you can get it, because I need to report this to my seller. Now, most agents skip this one. Don't. This is the number that proves your marketing is working even when showings are slow, or at least everywhere else this is being placed, people are seeing it, right? And it teaches them something. If you've got tons of views, but nobody's coming to see it, that's usually a price problem or a photo problem. If you've got barely any views, that's an exposure problem. Say that out loud to them in a very nice way. You're teaching them to read the market right alongside you because you're the professional. You're the one that they hired to get all of this done, right? Number 3, feedback. word for word, 2 or 3 real quotes from the agents who showed it. In fact, we have a listing right now that's been sitting on the market for over 100 days. But it's also a luxury listing. And the backyard has a slope. It doesn't have a full yard. Other ones that have a flat full yard have already sold. So we've had to give them that feedback from other agents. Don't clean them up. Don't soften them. Loved the kitchen, but the backyard was smaller than they expected. That's exactly what one of them was for us. Here's why this one matters so much. Real feedback is what makes the price talk possible in week 6, in week 7, in week 8. In fact, it makes this whole conversation not come from you saying, hey, remember all of these agents and seller or buyers coming in and saying these things to us? Well, we're going to have to do something about it because these things we can't change, right? We could only change and adjust this or this. Now, you didn't argue with them and you didn't have to force this on them. You just kept handing them the truth 1 week at a time. Number 4, what the competition's doing. What came on the market in their price range, what went pending, what sold, who cut their price, 3 or 4 lines, that's it. 2 new homes came up in your range this week. The one on Maple went in pending in 9 days, and it was $12,000 under your price. Or in our case, hey, this one went pending. It sold at the price that we want to sell for, but the yard was flat, and these buyers, because the agent's my friend, they said that they really loved that one in comparison to ours because of that one thing. This is the most important section in the whole report, and almost nobody does it because it changes the whole conversation. It stops being your house isn't selling. It becomes here's what buyers picked instead. And here's why number 5 is also extremely important. What you did this week. This is the invisible stuff. This is the stuff that you're doing in the background that doesn't always get seen by anybody. And I need you to make it visible. The ads you ran, the agents you called, the open houses, the details of the open houses, the setup, the takedown, the agents you talked to, the sellers you talked to during the open house, the follow-ups. We ran ads. This is what happened. It's costing us this much. It also reached this many people, right? Or I called all 6 agents who showed the home. I posted the sunset photos, hosted the open house on Sunday, had 4 groups, all that type, all those things. And if you don't tell them, they'll assume nothing happened. And that's not them being difficult. That's just what silence does to people, to everybody. It does it to you. Number 6. What's next? And what you need from them. You need a buy-in, or you need a next step for them too. 1 or 2 things that you're doing this week, plus anything you need from them. This week, I'm doing this and that. One favor. Can you open the blinds in the back room before Saturday? Never end without a next step. That next step is what tells them you're still in this. It's subliminal sometimes. And real quick, I built this as a 1-page template, 6 boxes, all on a landscape document. You fill in the blanks. It takes about, like I said, 8 to 15 minutes, depending on how fast you write and if you have this information ready. Message me on Instagram and I'll send this over to you, or drop the comment in the YouTube video and I'll send this over to you. I recently redid this, modified it, and we're doing a great job with it. Now, first rule, when you're using this, set up a time in your calendar to actually go and take a look at this and fill it out. Because if you're not doing this on your calendar, it's not going to exist. You're going to be like hit or miss. So what day are you going to invite yourself to check all this stuff off on little boxes or fill them in? And then when are you going to send it to the seller and communicate with them? That's rule number 2. Number 1, when are you going to take time to do this? Rule number 2, on this, when are you letting the sellers know about all of this? Anyway, please let me know if you need this. I'll send this your way, and do me a favor, subscribe, share this with somebody who needs this, and I'll see you on the next one. Have an awesome day.